Hey everybody, I'm gonna do a quick video today that's probably going to be more targeted towards somebody that's past the beginning of wood turning, where they're not so focused on tools and tool control and what's going on while you're at the lathe, and more focused on the actual piece that you're making. I know, like personally, when I got started, it was so amazing to just be able to make something on the lathe that design was never really part of the equation until it was. So, some general rules that I know that most people follow when it comes to like the size of a bowl or an object's base. In like a functional piece like this, I generally try to keep the bases of my functional work, somewhere between 35 and 45% of the diameter. It keeps things really stable. You can still have a nice feeling shape with that size of a bottom. Obviously the bigger you get, the bigger the base is compared to the size of the bowl, the heavier it's going to feel and the more stable it's going to be on a table, and vice versa. So I thought I'm just gonna do a few quick drawings and show you how I think about this stuff as I'm making a piece, whether it's for something that's going to be used for food service or whether it's something purely for decoration. This might make a little bit more sense as a decorative thing than it will a functional salad bowl, but the same rules all apply. So when I'm doing anything design-wise, I think it's helpful to break things down into thirds or quarters. I thought thirds would make more sense in this case since we're talking about bowls. And the general rule of 30, 35, 40% for a stable bowl bottom gives us this third here. So I think when most people start out turning, they end up making something that looks kind of like a dog bowl, where they end up with a big wide base and then either straight walls or curved walls. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nice and stable, but it also carries weight. So like this is a very heavy feeling bowl sitting on a table. It doesn't have lightness to it, and we can use that. You can use that if your intent is to have something that feels heavy and stable and sturdy, then a big wide bottom is great. But then if you want something that is lighter and leaps from the table, smaller base, nice curves, like that's going to feel lighter on a table than that. Obviously, it's also going to be a little less stable, but still stable enough is to not be an issue with tipping if somebody's trying to get food out of the bowl. But you can start to utilize those two things in different ways. So if you wanted a reasonably stable bowl, but you wanted it to carry its weight differently, you can make the foot just slightly smaller and then come off and then very quickly branch out into a shape that has, it's carrying a small load of weight at the bottom and it's springing off the table, but it's creating tension by getting wider very quickly rather than the more gradual or nice tapered up shape of a more standard bowl shape. This tends to be more of my style when it comes to functional bowls. This foot will either get smaller or bigger depending on the style of bowl, but I like the idea that you kind of create this tension and this weight based on the bottom of the bowl and how far out it comes, how quickly. You can start combining all of these things. So I mean, if you're talking in non-functional land and you want something that is just super delicate and just springs away, obviously tiny little contact point. Obviously not going to be super stable if you have people grabbing in there to get food. It's most likely going to be for decoration only. So yeah, I hope this makes sense. And obviously, If you are turning a large object and you want a tiny little foot on it, you're going to have a situation where you're going to need, most likely, so say I want to turn this piece, I'm going to start with a tenon that's that big, most likely, and I'm going to turn the overall shape close to where I want to be, still allowing myself enough meat to be safe turning this. And then once I've turned and roughed out the general shape, I'll go back in. Generally, I'll reshape and reduce the foot little by little, and then, you know, have a functional tenon on that's big enough to come back into this area of the bowl and remove wood from the, you know, the walls down here down to finished thickness. So just something to keep in mind, but I hope that this was helpful to everybody, and you know, just something to always keep in mind, that, you know, that size of the bottom is very, very, very important to not only the stability on the table, but how something feels when you look at it. So anyhow, everybody, till next time, I hope you enjoyed.